Welcome back everyone, I'm a man in a suit and today's video is going to be Sledge versus Buck. Now, both of these operators are near and dear to my heart, being both from Europe. There is so much to love about both of these operators. They're both givers. They do take on occasion, but you gotta get them pretty drunk before they do that. So first off, let's start with Sledge. Sledge was the second attacker I bought after Thermite, so I used him a lot right when the game first came out. And luckily, he hasn't changed all that much compared to Capital or Thermite, because they both had grenades and then they got taken away. Sledge still has his grenade, which is awesome. That's probably one of my favorite things about him. Not my favorite thing. So starting at the top of Sledge, let's first go over his arsenal. He's got the L85 something, I don't remember what it is. It's an excellent assault rifle. It passes the glory hole test for sure. You can pretty much lay on the trigger and it doesn't really take that much control in order to keep it steady. He's got a shotgun as well, but I don't really dick with a shotgun that much on attack. I will on occasion if I go house or something like that, but what is excellent about Sledge is that his secondary, the SMG-11, is just as good as his primary. I mean, very few operators in this game have a secondary as good as their primary. I know Hibana has a good secondary. She's also got an assault rifle. Jackal and Mira, they both have shotguns as their secondaries, which is excellent. I mean, that's just my opinion with gaming overall. I think shotgun is more of a secondary based weapon. If anyone out there disagrees, let me know in the comments why. In my opinion, I think shotgun should be specifically a secondary weapon. Like, do you remember if you ever played Modern Warfare 2? I love that game because you could have a shotgun as your secondary, and it was just so cool to walk into a building and I would always switch to that shotgun. I felt like I was on an even playing field. Because, you know, there was a ton of campers in Modern Warfare 2 and 3 and Black Ops and blah blah blah, and that's why I went to Battlefield. But that's for another video. And now there's probably people thinking out there, well, why am I complaining about camping in the Call of Duty franchise when Rainbow Six Siege is wrapped around camping and just the strategy of sitting in one place and waiting for the attackers to come? That's true, but that's what makes Rainbow Six Siege so fun, is that it's just so different from Call of Duty and Battlefield. But anyway, going back to Sledge, he is a one-man wrecking ball in the sense where you don't really rely on your team as much with Sledge, or at least you don't have to, and that's because you can pretty much do everything on your own. He doesn't need someone to breach a wall for him or a door, because this dude turns anything into a door. With that sledgehammer, it's so epic because there's so many times that I have sledged through a wall and I have had the enemy's back because they don't expect you to go through it. Now, yeah, you can do it with a breach charge, but the thing with a breach charge is it takes like 8 seconds longer because you have to walk up, place the breach charge, back up, blow it, then look through the wall. What's so awesome about Sledge is he can bash a freaking huge ass glory hole in a wall and start shooting almost instantly. And you always have the upper hand on the enemies when you do this, because chances are they're not going to be looking at a wall, they're going to be looking at the door. So to recap on Sledge before we move on to Buck, I like his primary weapon, I love his secondary weapon, I love that he has a grenade, and I love his ability of smashing through walls, castle reinforcements, and all of our hearts as well. Alright, now let's talk about Buck. In my opinion, I think Buck's a neutral operator. He's not a worthless operator like Blackbeard or IQ or even Glass on most levels. Buck is like Sledge in the sense where he's kind of his own man. He doesn't really rely on other people, and that's because he's got 2 primaries or 2 secondaries, however you look at it, because he's got that shotgun attachment, which is extremely useful if you use it properly. There are numerous strategies to be successful while you play this game, and that's what makes it so much fun. My favorite strategy with this game is I try not to go through doorways as much as possible, because I feel like you have capgun charges, people are watching the doors, blah blah blah, and that's what makes Buck and Sledge so excellent, is that you're always able to make your own door and that just gives you the upper hand in more ways than I can express here. So with Buck, he doesn't have a breach charge, but that's okay because he doesn't need one with that shotgun attachment and the grenade, because if you do come across a castle reinforcement, you can blow those up with the grenades. For people that do love shotguns, Buck's an excellent operator because you don't have to choose between an assault rifle and a shotgun. He's got both. Now, Buck does have a second primary weapon. I don't even know what it's called. I don't use semi-automatic assault rifles ever, like ever. So if you're waiting for me to make a glass video, then I'll tell you what some dude told me when his mom asked him when he was gonna make her a grandmother. And his reply was, "But Mom, I'm gay." And then I was just standing there like, yeah, dude, I just want to make a deposit. One thing that doesn't make any sense to me when it comes to Sledge, or any of the SAS characters for that matter, is as an SAS operator, whether it's Mute, Sledge, or Thatcher, they all wear gas masks, right? Do they not? Yes, they do. But for some reason, smoke injures them. So you would think one of the perks to go SAS is you would be impervious to those smoke grenades. But for some reason they made it not that way. Kind of dumb in my opinion. But I mean, what can I say about Buck that hasn't already been said about Canada? And that is that he's just a quiet giant. He's one of those guys on the teams that just keeps to himself, likes to do his own thing, doesn't like to be bothered. So to just recap these two operators, they're very similar in the sense that they can both blow holes in walls very rapidly with a shotgun or a sledgehammer. They both have grenades, which is awesome. They're both 2-speed, 2-armored operators. They both love to drink tea and smoke cigars. But why I think Sledge is above Buck in my book is that you are able to go full out savage with this guy and bash people's heads in with a sledgehammer, and that's just love that Buck can't give you. Well, that does it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then choke a cat and slap your mother, or like the video or subscribe. I don't know, whatever the hell you kids are doing these days. Until next time, I am a man in a suit.